the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Oh yeah, back at it one more time. Let's take a double take. Take number 2 here tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network for Swift Motorsports Performance Truck Series drivers. Gonna get after it in qualifying once again. 10 minutes on that stopwatch. Track fixed up, ready to go. Setups in the truck, ready to fire things off. Once again, lots of drivers already jumping out there in their machines. Once again, how you doing? How you feeling out there in TV land, race fans? Glad you could join us for the second time tonight, right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. As always, Dave in the Cave bringing you all the calls from the trackside here tonight as drivers turn left and right to try to get across that stripe. First 40 laps in store here tonight from Daytona International Race Super Speedway, the road course, the course they run for that famed Rolex 24-hour race right down here in Daytona, USA, Florida. Getting a ton of racing action when the race season actually kicks off down here in Daytona. Speed weeks last about Speed Month down here in Florida, as we have the IMSA cars, the Daytona Rolex. Then we have, I believe it is the Michelin Tire Challenge Series. The NASCAR, of course, comes to town. Sometimes right after that, they've got motocross as well in the infield. So lots of great action here at Daytona International Super Speedway. And well, a few drivers going to put in their time laps. We'll go ahead and get that ready for you on the left-hand side of your screen. Nobody putting in a time lap just yet, so nobody on the board. Looks like we've got upwards of 20 drivers here tonight trying to vie for that championship trophy here. First road course of season number 3 for the Swift Motorsports Performance Truck Series right here each and every Tuesday night on the Turn 3 Racing Network. If you're looking for a great league, looking for some great series to run in, well, come check out SwiftMotorsports.com. They've got everything from the Airs iRacing Paints Arca Menard Series to the Performance Truck Series right here, as well as every Wednesday night on the Turn 3 Racing Network. You can find the Swift Motorsports Butt Kicker Breezy Acres Dairy Farms Xfinity Series right here as well. Your home for everything Swift. Thursday nights coming on aboard here shortly on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Thursday night action also here in Swift Motorsports. Their Hyper Drive Racing Cup Series on Thursday nights. That's quite a show as well. Do want to keep in mind, race fans, that last night's race in the Airs iRacing Paints Arca Menard Series was rained out. We will restack that one and rerun that one this coming weekend, so keep your eyes out there on the schedule for that upcoming race here very, very soon. And a good way to stay informed on what's going on as we push to that 2,000 subscribers. Go ahead over to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Give these drivers a thumbs up. Click subscribe and smash that bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Whether it's myself, Dave in the Cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters, we do appreciate each and every one of you each and every time you stop by, helping us push to 2,000 subscribers. John Macmillan Jr. Gonna reclaim that top spot. It goes a little bit faster this time around. Quick time tonight, 1:59.27 for the 15. Rhett Tucker right on his heels, 1:59.62. A fast time for Tucker halfway through tonight's 10-minute qualifying session. Jamming with Guns N' Roses down there in the infield, putting on a show for all the fans and the campers here. Great show, great atmosphere down here at Daytona International Super Speedway. If you haven't had a chance to get to this massive racing facility down in sunny Florida, you are missing out. It is quite an event. You gotta get to the infield. You gotta enjoy the fan zone down there. It is absolutely amazing. Nobody dethroning John McMillan Jr. at the moment. Looks like Rhett Tucker was the closest one. Only Jeff Snyder out there on a time lap. The 29 Ford F-150 waiting to put in his time lap, as I do believe the set is over. They're going to head on out back on the tour bus as we get ready to head out on the track here at Daytona International Super Speedway. Also want to keep in mind, race fans out there in TV land, coming up in the next few weeks, we have Phoenix International Raceway. That's right, ISM, as well as Kentucky coming up in the next 2 weeks. That's going to end the month of June out here in the Swift Motorsports Butt Kicker Performance Truck Series. What a way to end it right here. A road course. Then we head all the way out to the West Coast. Hot track in the desert sun at ISM. Then, well, we head to Bourbon Heartland. That's right, Kentucky. Before we take another short break for the 4th of July holidays, we do hope you all stay well. Do hope you all make smart decisions as we reach that 4th of July holiday. Stay safe, my friends, all the way around the globe. Everybody tuning in worldwide, whether it be on their phones, computers, tablets, we do appreciate each and every one of you joining us here tonight. Final 2 minutes here in qualifying. Doesn't look like anybody else going to get in a time lapse. So once again, Rhett Tucker actually tops the speed charts with a 1:59.06. Tucker able to put down a faster time. He dethrones that 15. John McMillan Jr. looks like he's going to start outside pole as the 99 takes that top spot away. Gonna go ahead and refresh your memory if you don't remember. Championship standings coming into tonight's race look a little something like this. Adam Pettit leads all the drivers out there, but not by a lot. Only 13 points separates himself from Kevin Haas. Sean Hosier right there as well, 23 points back. Lee Staples, John McMillan Jr. sitting right there, 30 points back. I believe that may be John McMillan Sr. sitting 30 points back. Yes, it is John McMillan Sr. sitting 30 points back. Heck of a season so far here for Big Mac. Michael Madden just outside of your top 10. He went to victory lane last week at Dover, or last time we were on the track, I should say. 2-week break here for the Swift Motorsports drivers in memorial, how do you say that? In remembrance of all the I rating lost during week 13, Swift Motorsports likes to have a week of silence. I think it's a pretty cool little funny gesture as well, but nonetheless, final few minutes remaining here in qualifying. Looks like Rhett Tucker gonna take the pole here tonight, so we're gonna step away real quick, head back down trackside for the national anthem. So don't go anywhere, race fans. We will be right back.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the boats bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Trackside as the final few drivers make their way to the starting grid. Looks like they're all there ready to go. And hear that familiar sound in the background. It's time to run down tonight's starting lineup for the Swift Motorsports Butt Kicker Performance Truck Series race number 4 right here at Daytona Road Course, season number 3. Rhett Tucker in the 99 gonna take the top spot, 1:59.05. Quick time tonight for Tucker, just to his outside, the 15 of John McMillan Jr. Inside row number 2, John Peel, just to his outside, the 78 of Greg Olnick. Row number 3 here tonight, the 86 of Alan Young, followed by Nathan Rogie. Tommy Holt, Lee Staples back in row 4. Row number 5 tonight, Sean Kozer and Kevin Haas. Jeff Snyder and Jeff Glockner are going to make up row number 6. Row 7 tonight, Gary Wells, Justin Gann, Jeffrey Green, Ron Chitty, Stephen Ayers Jr. rounds out your field here tonight. Drivers ready to go. This time Byfield gets the green flag. We're racing at Daytona International Super Speedway. It's the road course tonight. Driver's gonna turn left Enright driver running wide already. John McMillan Jr. going to give up that outside pole position. He'll fall back to third now, almost to fourth as Alan Young looking to his inside. Tommy Holt with a off-track excursion already. The 7 Ford F-150 with some trouble. We'll jump back to this little battle. Keep our eye on this 3-truck tango going on the 78, the 15, and 86. Nose to tail through this infield carousel. Gonna be a fast-paced race tonight. No full course cautions, only local yellows, so drivers can have moments and off-track incidents, and the race will not come to a crawl. Just got to yield a little bit of speed through that particular section, as it looks like Tommy Holt with yet another issue here on lap number 1. Jeff Snyder also with some trouble. We'll jump around a little bit as these drivers begin to separate themselves already. Red Tucker out to a 1.5 second advantage over Greg Olnick. He has John McMillan Jr. there. You can see John Jr. coming out of that backstretch chicane back into NASCAR number 3. Alan Young about a second off of his tail end as Sean Kozier has some trouble getting through that chicane. Ooh, on the brakes hard is that 86 of Alan Young. The 78 of Olnick, he's got that 15 breathing down his neck, wanting that spot. Tommy Holt in the D-Walt number 7 has that 31 of Stephen Ayers Jr. just behind him. Jeff Glockner has got some trouble. Glockner heads to pit road. 3-truck battle right here with Tommy Holt, Stephen Ayers Jr., and Nathan Rogie. Rogie sitting back in that 87 machine right behind that Ayers Eye Racing paint sponsored. Oh, tough trouble runs off track right there back to the front. Once again, battle still brewing for that second and third position on track as Tucker sets sail. The Florida native may have a little bit of a unfair advantage. Home state track for Tucker, and he is showing some speed here tonight. 1.6 seconds separates himself from Olenek already on lap number 2. Gaps beginning to go away. Nathan Rogie able to get by Stephen Ayers Jr. after that 31 ran wide and through the grass, got a little bit out of shape. Now Rogie sets his sights on that 7 of Tommy Holt. Late breaking into the chicane. He's going to outbreak him and take that spot away. 87 moving through the field. We'll stay jumping around the track just a little bit. Back to the front of this field. Battle for second and third still underway. Just 2/10 separates John McMillan Jr. from Greg Olenek. Olenek holding strong right now in the Moo and Brew Ford F-150. There you can see Tommy Holt. He's going by the wounded 29 machine. Jeff Snyder already with some trouble. Alan Young also with some issues out there on the track tonight. This track is giving some of these drivers an absolute fit. And as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, all of those drivers in the white numbers, all of them yet to hit victory lane. Jeff Gluckner sitting back in the 15th position. That 24 truck, he's already visited victory lane here. Race, I believe it was race number 1, the opening round this season for the Swift Motorsports Performance Truck Series, brought to you by BUTTKICKER. So Gluckner already in that chase, having a little bit of trouble here tonight, and it looks like the off-track excursion broke something underneath that Chevy Silverado, and Gluckner's gonna finish his night a little bit early. 14 drivers still out there on the track, 14 drivers still on this lead lap. Watching the battle between Olnick, as he has had some trouble. What happened here with Olnick? John McMillan Jr., John Peel also making his way by. Alan Young now making his way by Lee Staples. That's for the 6th position on track. And Staples, Sean Kozier, they were mixing it up just a handful of laps ago as well. There you can see that 77 Chevy Silverado, the patriotic scheme sported by John Peel. He's already beginning to separate himself just a little bit from John McMillan Jr. And we're trying to find it. We're trying to see what happened here. Greg Olenek had some trouble. Let's see if we can't look back and find that one. Looks like we got a thumbs up on it. We're going to go back, check the replay. We'll be right back to your live action here at Daytona International Raceway. Let's check the replay. There you see that 78 of Olenek. He's still out in front of the 15 of John McMillan Jr. for the time being. Hard into the corner. He's going to hit the brakes, and the tail end just going to come right on around. Going to try to get it corrected, and this is where that 77 closes in, looks to the inside and makes that pass. So Olenek gonna have to recover, gonna have to come back up through the field. He sits back in fourth, back behind this man, the 77 of John Peel, with a good run so far, but he has got quite a gap to make up. 7 seconds to get to John Jr. Tommy Holton, the DeWalt number 7 Ford F-150 down the backstretch into that chicane. Sean Kozier right here on the 97. He's got Alan Young not too far off of him, breathing down his neck. Just about a half a second separates these two drivers on track. Back to this battle right here between that 77 and 78. Still going at it left and right. Battle back once again with that 86 of Alan Young. He's going to look to the inside on the front stretch. Down on the brakes now. He goes into turn number 1, and he's going to take that top spot away. Speaking of top spots, back to your race leader. Check this man out. Getting it done up there in that 99 machine. I tell you what, why don't we jump inside the cockpit, ride a lap around the infield with your race leader, your pole sitter tonight, Rhett Tucker. Back out on the NASCAR turn 1 and 2. Let's watch him as he makes his way through and into that backstretch chicane. Jeff Snyder with some trouble. Sean Kozier with some trouble as well here on lap number 5. Both of those drivers with some issues. Here, nice and smooth, nice and easy back into that throttle. Rhett Tucker squeezing the egg here at Daytona International Super Speedway. Down through the gears, nice and easy. You could hear him all the way down through the gears. No lockups, no wheel hops. Rhett Tucker has got this thing figured out. Nathan Rogie with some trouble. Rogie going to have an issue. We'll take a look back at that here in just a brief moment as well. Trying to see how all that played out. We'll jump back outside the car. Rhett Tucker back through the first section of this course. And there you can see John McMillan Jr. not too far off. 3 seconds behind. One mistake, and McMillan Jr. will be right there. John Peel beginning to close back in on Greg Olenek. Olenek making that pass on lap number 5. He took that third place back away from John Peel, so Olenek recovering after a spin the previous lap. Gonna take a look at the replay. What happened with Rogie in that 87 machine? We'll take a look back. Here you go, 87. Getting back into, I believe that would be turn number 10. Somewhere right around there. Oh, hard on the brakes. Locks him up. Tail end comes right around. Well, no harm, no foul. He'll get back through the gears. Back up to speed. We'll get back to the front of this field live here at Daytona International Raceway. International Super Speedway, I should say. I believe this is going to be one of the hot and heaviest battles we see all night long. John Peel, Greg Olenek going back and forth at it on the speedway. Jeffrey Green with some trouble. He goes off track. Stephen Ayers Jr. gets by Jeff Snyder for 13th. '97 of Sean Kozier tries to close in on Alan Young. Ron Schutte right there in that 28 Toyota Tundra. Only Toyota out there on the track. The Dynamark 28, a lonely man when it comes to the manufacturer's side of things. Rogie deep into the corner, all over the tail end now. My gosh, he sailed that thing off into turn number 1. Back into the corners, back through this infield section, and that 28 of Schutte is hanging strong, keeping the hard charge in 87 of Nathan Rogie behind him, working lap number 7 out of the 40 scheduled in tonight's official race distance. Few drivers with some trouble out there tonight on track, only one of them falling victim to circumstances and having parts malfunctions. That 24 of Jeff Glockner had some trouble. Off-track excursion, broke the drive shaft. Looks like he's going to be out for the rest of this event. Glockner will finish back in 15th. Big shout out to all the race admins and officials keeping their eyes peeled all over this track. Big time shout out to Justin Gann, Darren Clement, Gary Wells, as well as Big Mac, John McMillan Sr., and that 51, big shout out to all of them up in the race control in the officials booth, keeping their eyes peeled for any shenanigans that may go on. Whoa, big wide entry there. Oh, and he's going to kill it on the turtle shells right there on the NASCAR chicane. 87 of Rogie went to the inside. Shooty looked to go wide. He paid the price, gave up the spot, and had a little bit of a rough entry to that chicane. John Pill, Greg Olnick, they're still going at it not side by side, but still going at it for that spot. The 31 of Stephen Ayers Jr. gets past now. He'll fall victim to the front of this field. 31, first driver off of the lead lap, sitting in the lucky dog position, as we are down now to just 12 drivers left on the lead lap. Of Kevin Haas up one position from where he started tonight's race. He's now inside of the top 10, sits in that 9th spot. Most spots gained tonight, though, goes to the driver just behind him, the lone Toyota Tundra, Ron Shooty, up 6 spots from where he started tonight's race outside of the top 15. And now Shooty runs in 10th. We do apologize, a little bit of a technical glitch, had some different things on screen at the same time. We do apologize about that, and we'll get that worked out, fixed out for you there. Shooty with a good run. He's going to get right back by Rogie. Now Rogie's going to drive deep into turn number 1 once again. We've seen him do that on several occasions. And it looks like Rogie is pushing hard on those tires, and he's going to go way wide through the first part of this infield section of this road course. Rogie struggling with grip out there. He's going to fall into the clutches of that 7 of Tommy Holt. And that DeWalt Ford F-150 looking strong once again. And as we cross the line this coming time by, we'll complete lap number 10. That will put us a quarter of the way through tonight's race. And if you haven't already, race fans, join in the push for 2,000 subscribers. Head on over there, toss these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash that bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Whether it's myself, Dave in the Cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters, we do appreciate each and every one of you, each and every time you stop by, whether you're just sliding through to say hey, or you are the dedicated fan, friend, or family. We do appreciate each and every one of you. Big shout out to all of our series and league sponsors. Butt Kicker coming on board, title sponsor this year for Swift Motorsports, so we do appreciate them as well. And well, I tell you what, why don't we take a look at our truck winners so far this season. You can see that information scrolling through the ticker on the bottom of the screen. Short list here this season so far, season number 3 for the Swift Motorsports Butt Kicker Performance Truck Series. 3 races in the books, 3 different winners. There you can see them all on screen. Jeff Gluckner, Adam Pettit, as well as Michael Madden going to victory lane. Last time we were on the track at Dover International Speedway. Heck of a job by Madden. Adam Pettit picking up race number 2 win this season. And it looks like with Gluckner out, we're going to have ourselves, we're going to answer the question scrolling across the screen there for ourselves here tonight. Very early at that, we will have our 4th different race winner this season in the Performance Truck Series right here with Swift Motorsports. Back through the infield section of the road course, Nathan Rogie still trying to get back by that 28 of Ron Schutte. Schutte gonna move to the outside, kind of let him just go right on by. Rogie really abusing those tires right now. He's been on to pit lane once already. He continues to make his way back up through this field. Rhett Tucker, John McMillan Jr., Greg Olenek, all to pit road. John Peel, Alan Young. Looks like most of the front runners are beginning to come to pit road this time by. A little bit of brake smoke from Kevin Haas and Lee Staples as they make their way through the backstretch chicane. We're watching the 88 of Kevin Haas and Nathan Rogie going at it. That's a battle for 8th and 9th on the speedway. Rogie now looking to the outside. Will he pull deep into the corner? He's going to sail it off in on the outside. Looks like the 88 no choice but to kind of give way. The 31 of Stephen Ayers Jr. slow on the track going to pit road. He's going to make his pit stop. Lee Staples, Sean Kozier all to pit road. Tommy Holt also joins the pit road parade. Rhett Tucker able to get on and off pit road without losing the race lead. Tucker dominating this road course here tonight. John McMillan Jr. runs in second. Greg Olenek right there in third. John Peel and Alan Young round out your top 5. Tucker in a commanding lead here, 4 seconds over his competition tonight. The 15 of John McMillan Jr. has been fast, but not fast enough. Not able to close in at all, but able to step away from third place runner Greg Olenek. There you can see that moo and brew. The 78 Ford F-150 sitting in third. John Peel and his 77 Chevy Silverado sitting back in fourth. Alan Young and yet another Chevy rounds out your top 5. Sean Kozier with yet another off-track incident here tonight. Let's go check, see what happened on the replay. Here you see the 97 into the hairpin coming back onto NASCAR number 1. Car gets a little light on the tail end and around he goes. No contact, no harm, no foul, just some lost track time. He'll get it pointed back in the right direction, back up through the gears, maybe take out a cone or two. We'll rejoin the race once again live at the front of the field as Nathan Rogie heads to pit road. Kevin Haas, Ron Schutte all come down this time by. Checking the battle with these two drivers out on pit road. They were pretty close to beating and banging coming down to pit road. Very interesting little run for those drivers. Alan Young looking to set his sights on a 4th place now as John Peel in the 77 seems to be struggling just a little bit. They'll come through the corner back to NASCAR 1. Peel leads Young by 1.1 seconds. Alan Young has been closing in, slowly chipping away at that Feeding America 77. Piloted by John Peel. This is one of your closest battles on track. John Peel, Alan Young going at it. Half of a second separates those two drivers from one another. Sean Kozier with an off-track excursion this time by. Once again, the 77 back through NASCAR Front stretch chicane gonna come around the start finish line. Begin lap number 13 for him and his crew. Rhett Tucker has absolutely set sail, though. He's already 23 and a half seconds in front of this battle. Look at those brake rotors glowing on the 86 of Alan Young, trying to get his truck woed up, trying to get it into the corner without making any contact. And just look how much these drivers are on those brakes. My gosh. Brake rotors glowing as the 86 out brakes the 77 of John Peel. Peel gonna lose the spot. He'll drop to 5th. And it looks like drivers are maybe playing a little bit of a fuel strategy here. I do believe they can get more than 10 laps out of the tank of fuel here tonight. This 3.5 mile road course does serve some strategy calls. If you're able to keep the tires underneath you and stay out there on the track a little bit longer, you'll have the fresh tires later in the run. You may just have enough. Whoa, big time front lock up out of that 97. Nathan Rogie gonna go to the inside. He'll take that 7th spot away. Kozier gonna drop to 8th. Trucks all over this speedway pretty much the entire way around. We've got a lot of bigger gaps throughout this field. And what has happened to Rhett Tucker? Oh my goodness, what has happened to Tucker? Oh my. Rhett Tucker now being shown back in the 5th position. What has happened? Trying to look for it, trying to find it. Not seeing anything. Let's go back and take a look at the pass for that top spot. There you can see that 99. He's had some trouble. He's been off track. Motor blown. He's going to have to get back. I don't think there's a fast repair. Tucker, after dominating almost the first half of this race, he's got a blown motor and he is dropping through the field. He has got to pit lane. Will rejoin the field back up towards the front. John Peel now sits in 4th after Rhett Tucker pops the engine in that 99 Ford F-150. The rest of those blue ovals have got to be thinking, am I next? Tucker on to pit lane, and it's going to be quite some time before he can get back out there on the track. He is going to fall deep through this field, over 1 minute behind already in his box for over 45 seconds, and he's going to be there for quite a bit longer. And how about this man right here leading the field now, making his way through the tri-oval, gonna cross the stripe to begin lap number 15 here tonight out of the 40 scheduled in tonight's official race distance. John McMillan Jr. started outside pole position, had a little rough start, fell back to about 3rd or 4th place there in the opening 5 laps. Stayed calm, cool, collected, and just raced the track and found himself back in a great position. Now he's at the top of the speed charts. He leads this field here tonight at Daytona International Super Speedway. It's the road course here for Swift Motorsports BUTTKICKER Performance Truck Series. Oh, Ron Schutte with some trouble. The 28 goes around. Schutte gonna go around, and he's gonna go a lap down with that incident. Schutte also going to drop from 9th to 10th as Sean Kozier passes him for position. Kozier back into the spot. He started tonight's race back in 9th. 97 listed as the first driver, 1 lap down, and once you're 1 lap down, it is hard to get it back here on the road courses. Only local yellows, so no full course cautions, no lucky dogs here tonight. No fast repairs either. Rhett Tucker has popped the engine. He's got the mechanics down there thrashing away, trying to get a new engine put into that 99 Ford F-150, trying to get him back out there on the track and gain a few points if he can. Jeffrey Green with an off-track moment, the driver of the 34 F-150. He has some trouble. Let's go back and check with Green. There you can see that 34 Mountain Dew SAP National Fuel sponsored Ford F-150. Man, that thing is mangled up. Not sure if you want to put your bet with DraftKings on the 34 here tonight. Tough go here at Daytona Road Course for the 34 of Green. Front end damaged, back end damaged. Still soldiering on, though. You gotta love the perseverance and commitment. Out of all of these Swift Motorsports drivers, will rejoin the field once again back towards the front. John Peel in the 77 machine, still going well. Sits inside your top 5, running in 4th, just 1 spot down from where he started tonight's race, up in 3rd. With just 25 laps to go, we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break, but don't worry, race fans, you won't miss any of the action as we go swift, side by side, brought to you by Mountain Mafia Kennels. Back trackside as promised, not missing any of the racing action. We stayed side by side with your Swift side by side, brought to you by Mountain Mafia Kennels, right here in Western North Carolina, based out of Haywood County. That's right, Mountain Mafia Kennels, your place for bullies. Big time shout out to a little bit off subject, but a big time shout out to a few of the alum out there at Pisgah High School here in Western North Carolina, hosting the 2A regionals for wrestling this season for the high school boys, and, well, 5 of them went and qualified for the state championship tournament. A freshman, Xander Hill, made history tonight. He's going to finish second in the region. First time it has ever been done at Pisgah High School, so a big time shout out to that young man. Got a lot of hard work in front of him. Big time shout out to everybody out there putting in the work, getting the job done on the mat tonight out there at Pisgah High School in the 2A Regional Wrestling Tournament. Big time shout out also to Performance Motorsports as they came on board to sponsor this series this season. Once again, second season in a row for Performance Motorsports to sponsor this series with Swift right here on iRacing.com. Big time shout out to BUTTKICKER as the title sponsor across all 4 series here in the Swift Motorsports League on iRacing.com, the world's #1 racing simulator. And if you haven't already, you gotta get on the sim. You gotta try it. They've got everything from the heavy 10 tops. That's right, NASCAR style V8 supercars. What, you want to race some dirt? We've got everything you can imagine, from the midgets to the big blocks right here on iRacing. You want to go road course or rally racing? We got that too. Even got the Pro 4s and Pro 2 stadium trucks. So if you want it, you want to wreck it, you just want to have fun driving it, come on over to iRacing.com. 87 of Nathan Rogie's going to take that spot away from Lee Staples. Rogie going to move his machine into the top 5 for the first time here tonight since having trouble early in the race. About lap number 4, I do believe it was, when Rogie had that trouble. He has been to pit lane one more time than the rest of the field already tonight and still runs well up there in the top 5 in that 5th position. But look at those front brake rotors glowing. He has got a ton of front brake dialed in to that 87 machine. He's going to set sail, leave that 5 of Lee Staples to the wayside. Just 6 drivers remaining on the lead lap with just 22 laps to go, right at the halfway point. And if you haven't already, race fans, toss these drivers a thumbs up. Give them a little love for all their road course action here tonight from Daytona International Superspeedway's road course. Right here for round number 4 in season number 3. These drivers week in, week out, putting on an absolute fireworks of a show. Not much to be said for your race leader. John McMillan Jr. has a 14-second advantage over Greg Olnick, who has got the next man back by another 14 seconds. Alan Young, John Peel, they have separated themselves as well from each other. Nathan Rogie running back in the 5th spot. He's got quite a bit of ground to make up, over a second to make up, to be exact, to catch up to John Peel. Lee Staples in that 5. He's going to have to be careful because he is close to being the next driver off of this lead lap, as we're just 2 laps away from the halfway point here tonight, and just a handful of laps away for the second round of green flag pit stops. Alan Young trying to make his way by the back marker of Kevin Haas. Haas off of the lead lap, sitting in 7th. First driver listed off of the lead lap. Then you can see one driver, I believe that's the 29 of Jeff Snyder. Wounded Warrior out there tonight, but still trying to persevere on, still trying to get all the points that he can out of this thing. Jeffrey Green in the 34 F-150. He's had some trouble. He's been on pit road for quite some time. Currently sitting 3 laps down with Jeff Snyder. Jeffrey Green looks like he's going to fall yet another lap down. Sean Kozer listed 2 laps down. Ron Schutte, Tommy Holt, and Kevin Haas all 1 lap down. Lee Staples, Nathan Rogie, next drivers that may be added to that list, sitting 5th and 6th on the speedway as we watch Nathan Rogie try to somehow close almost a 1-minute gap up to that 77 of John Peel running in 4th. Peel's going to break away for pit road. No, looks like just a little connection issue. Looked like he was heading to pit road that time. Do apologize. Back at the front of the field, your race leader, John McMillan Jr., comes off of turn number 4 back into the NASCAR front stretch chicane. He'll cross the line to give us 20 to go halfway through tonight's race. And he's going to peel off for pit road this time by. Cameraman saying this is the exciting man to watch here tonight as Greg Olnick's going to join your race leader on the pit road. What does Alan Young do? We'll watch that 15 get into the box. How does Olnick go about getting in his box? Alan Young going to come to pit road this time by as well. Nathan Rogie going to take a spot away from John Peel. What happened with Peel? And there you can see John McMillan Jr. able to get back off of pit road and keep the race lead. That 97 of Sean Kozer looks like he's had a little bit of trouble here tonight. Just off in front of that 29 of Jeff Snyder. There's the 5 of Lee Staples. He's trying to close in on Nathan Rogie. That's about a 4th and 5th on the speedway. Ron Schutte going to go to the high side. Let the front runners on by. Schutte will slot back in line, sitting in the 9th spot, listed 1 lap down. And what has happened to John Peel? It is showing him out of the race. Oh my goodness. Gonna watch the 5 of Lee Staples as he makes his way down pit road. Nathan Rogie right there in his box already. Back to your race leader, John McMillan Jr. He was able to keep a 13-second advantage over Olnick. Olnick gaining just a little bit on and off pit road, but nowhere near enough. Finally, that gap under the 15 seconds, but it looks like, oh, for the time being, Olnick's actually closing right now. Closing at a fast pace, to be exact. Making up a ton of time here on this outlap is that 78. He is pushing the limits, trying to get himself back to your race leader, John McMillan Jr. Going to cross the line. 19 to go. We are past the halfway point here tonight. These drivers have been going at it for right around 45 minutes tonight, turning left, turning right, under the lights right here at Daytona International Super Speedway. And there that gap begins to climb once again. John McMillan Jr. starting to extend that gap once again over the 78. Alan Young still sits in 3rd, 4th place. Nathan Rogie, Lee Staples back in 5th, and John Peel rounds out your top 6. Last driver on the lead lap is that 77 of Peel. No real battles to show here on the track. Nobody really fighting for position for the time being. We'll watch the 86 of Alan Young. There you can see him. He's slowly making some gains on a back marker just off in front of him, sitting about 10 seconds back from that 78 of Olnick. He'll go by the 97 of Sean Kozier on the backstretch. Kozier going to let him on by, have the advantage going into this backstretch chicane. 28 of Ron Schutte, next driver in between Alan Young and Greg Olnick. He'll look to do away with Schutte as quickly as possible. But it doesn't look like anybody has anything for John McMillan Jr. out to a 12.5-second race advantage. As Jeff Snyder, he's got some trouble. Once again, he has a race incident. But as we mentioned earlier, all green flag laps here tonight from Daytona International Super Speedway in round number 4 in season number 3 for Swift Motorsports Butt Kicker Performance Truck Series. Only local yellows, only got to slow down right around where that wounded car or issue is at. You can still see those brake rotors glowing heavily. And it looks like that Silverado has a little bit of front end damage. Fastest lap of the race being turned in last time by. That's by that 86 of Alan Young, 1:59.35 race speed here tonight. Heck of a job out there by Alan Young putting in that fast time. He's going to try to see if he can get a point somehow, some way out of tonight's race under the lights right here at Daytona International Super Speedway. It's Daytona Road Course. This man right here has it all to himself. Top spot right now, 13-second advantage over Olnick. Olnick has about a 16-second advantage over Alan Young. Another about a minute back from Young to Rogie. So your top 3 podium spots pretty much figured out, pretty much in the bag. They got to keep this thing straight, though. Alan Young has some trouble. He works off track, comes back on track. Let's go see what happened with this 86. Comes through the backstretch chicane, just lights the tires up a little bit, goes for some landscaping duties, cuts the grass, kicks the cone, gets back up to speed. Alan Young stays in third. Back live once again, back at the front with your race leader, who's now pushing that gap to almost a 14-second advantage. The only driver that's going to be John McMillan Jr. is going to be John McMillan Jr. And I'd have to agree with you, Gary. A tough break for that 99 of Rhett Tucker. He was absolutely class of the field while his truck was running. Looks like maybe going up through the gears maybe too many times, revving the engine just a little bit too much, and that engine popped inside of that Ford F-150. Rhett Tucker going to finish back in 13th after dominating the vast portion of tonight. Tough break to watch that happen. Kind of shake your head a little bit at that. Not much you can do when an internal part breaks, except kind of shake your head and move on. And look for that 99 of Tucker to be fast as ever when we hit the track next week at ISM Raceway, heading cross country to the desert. We're going to hit things up at Phoenix next week. And will we see the first time repeat winner next week at Phoenix tonight? We're going to have another new race winner, our fourth different winner in 4 races this season. My gosh. McMillan Jr. still in control of this race, still in control of his destiny. Can he make it to victory lane? Can he keep it clean and cool for yet another 15 laps as we cross the line? This time to go, 15 remain. Ron Schutte heads to pit road this time by. Schutte gonna be in for what may be the final time of the night. Drivers on the edge of being able to make it from here on out. Excuse me, from here on out on the fuel mileage side of things. When will they hit pit road? When will they make their run to the end? Olenek able to close some ground, close some distance late in this race run, but it's gonna take quite a bit to overcome a 12.5 second deficit, as that 15 still looks really clean, really technical through that backstretch chicane. Not a lot of brake rotor glow out of that 15 that time by, so easing up just a little bit. Looks like he may be nursing that thing to the end. You know, race fans, why don't we go on board for a ride around this 3.5 mile track with your race leader, John McMillan Jr. As he crosses the line, we'll jump on board with the 15 for one lap here at Daytona. Lee Staples in the 5, gonna fall one lap down. That's gonna give us just 5 drivers remaining on the lead lap with just 14 laps to go. back to high gear through NASCAR 1 and 2. Down the back stretch, gonna hit the chicane this time by. You can hear those tires spin just a little bit when he hits the apex of that final corner in the chicane. They're going over that little turtle shell. You can hear the rev of the engine. That's the tires spinning in the back. With one driver already popping that motor, how concerned is John McMillan Jr. about getting his Chevy Silverado to the end of tonight's race? And that's a lap with your race leader. And that iRacing sponsored number 15, John McMillan Jr. leads this field. 13 laps remaining out of the 40 scheduled in tonight's official race distance here in race number 4 at Daytona Road Course in season number 3 for the Swift Motorsports Butt Kicker Performance Truck Series. There's that glow of the rotors once again, and you gotta ask yourself, how hard are these drivers pushing these brakes? Could we see a brake failure? Could we see a tire failure due to the heat out of those brake rotors? Drivers gonna have to be very cognizant of how they're on these brakes, especially towards the end of these green flag runs. Alan Young with a race issue. He has some trouble here on lap number 28. Alan Young sitting in that third position. He has had some big time trouble. Let's go back and check the replay. There's the 86 on the brakes. You can see those rotors glowing. He gets off of the brake onto the gas and just loops it. Spins the truck right around, catches the gear. He'll drive away, keeping that third spot for the time being. Back at the front though, race leader John McMillan Jr. going to cross the line. Just 12 laps remaining for your race leader. Not a lot of racing action going on right here as far as battling for positions on the track. Olnick back in second. '78 of Greg Olnick right there in that second spot. Alan Young runs in third. Nathan Rogie back and forth. John Peel rounds out your top 5. And that 77 of Peel is listed 1 lap down. First driver off of this lead lap. And how about Nathan Rogie? He is close to falling victim to your race leader, John McMillan Jr. We'll go back and watch that battle unfold on track, as I'm sure that 87, he's going to want to keep himself on the lead lap for pride's sake. As we get to the final few laps of tonight's race, do want to keep in mind these drivers have been going at it for upwards of 60 minutes straight around this 3.5 mile road course down here in hot and humid Daytona. When will your race leader hit pit road for the final time? Looks like John McMillan gonna stay out on the track once again. 11 to go this time by. 78 of Greg Olnick, he's going to go ahead and come to pit road this time by trying to gain a little bit of track position by short pitting, going for the undercut here tonight. We'll see how that strategy pans out for the 78. And John McMillan Jr. with a little bit of a blink right there, a little magic man going on. Now you see him, now you don't. Comes back, stabilizes. How much of a heartache, how much of a heartbreak would that be for John McMillan Jr. to have a little bit of connection and electric issues and fall out of the top spot here tonight after dominating really the second portion of tonight's race, after we seen that 99 of Rhett Tucker have mechanical issues pop the engine inside of that 99 Ford Mustang. Tucker fell way back through the field, down multiple laps. He sits and will finish tonight's race back in 13th. What will the race leader do this time by? Will he stay out? Will he come to pit road? Nathan Rogie looks like he's going to stop for the final time here tonight. 87 going to bring his truck down for fuel and tires, which should be the final time of the night. Tommy Holt has some issues out there on the track as well. He's going to get the car corrected, headed back in the right direction. Rogie gonna fall off of the lead lap as your race leader, John McMillan Jr., gonna stay out and extend the run. Now just 3 drivers left on the lead lap. Your podium finishers, John McMillan Jr., Greg Olenick, and Alan Young. Last drivers on the lead lap, sitting at the front of this field. '78 only driver out of your top 3 to already come to pit road for his final pit stop tonight. Alan Young comfortably out in front of your race leader, John McMillan Jr. Young sitting a good right at about a minute away from being put down the lead lap, so he's going to go ahead and call it quits and bring that 86 to pit road for what should be the final stop for him and his crew tonight. 15-second flat stop for Greg Olenick. Let's see how Alan Young and his pit crew do. Already in the box. We'll keep our eye down there on pit road as we watch the 15 of John McMillan Jr. He'll make his way through the backstretch chicane. Once again, chasing some more of these back markers. Alan Young now a minute and a half behind your race leader, John McMillan Jr. As that 15 through the NASCAR chicane once again, and he looks to come to pit road this time by. There you can see Ron Schutte beaten, battered, damaged, dented up, but still out there running the 28, sits back in the 9th position. 3 laps down as your race leader comes to pit road for the final time tonight. Can he hit the box smooth? Nice entry to pit road. Nice entry into his box. Crew will go to work. Change those right side tires. Now going around to the left side. They're going to drop the jacket. Out he goes. John McMillan Jr. Fast pit stop. That's going to put him out securely in front of that 78 of Greg Olenick. Not a chance that he's going to catch him a half a second faster in the box and almost a full second faster on and off pit road. John McMillan Jr. getting it done for the money stop. And you know, here's a question, race fans. If you are that 15 of John McMillan Jr., how hard do you push right here? Do you push and go after a fast lap, knowing you got the fresh tires underneath you? Do you give them a lap or two to kind of heat up and get that grip and then maybe go after that fast time? Or do you just kind of play it cool, play it normal, run the race you've been running all night? Or do you kind of slack off a little bit and ensure yourself no trouble? As a race car driver, very hard to pull back on those reins and get yourself in a little bit of a different rhythm. Road course racing, very much about rhythm, very much about throttle points, braking points, and if you start to deviate from those, it could spell disaster as well. So a little bit of a conundrum up there for that 15 of John McMillan Jr. and his entire crew. Got to be thinking about what's going on through that crew chief's mind. There you can see the 88 coming off of pit road. And Kevin Haas going to rejoin the race back in the 7th position, down off of the lead lap, down 2 laps to your race leader. Olenek still trying to close in. He's got the gap down to under 11 seconds now, knocking on the door of just 10.5 seconds back. I don't think it's going to be near enough time to make up that amount of time. As John McMillan Jr. back on to NASCAR 1 and 2 this time. 8 laps to go here tonight from Daytona Road. First time these drivers have been to the Daytona Road course here in Swift Motorsports. No real judgment to go off of last season. So all of tonight's going to go in the record books. The 97 with trouble getting through the backstretch chicane. Little off-track excursion for that Ford F-150. The Firehouse sponsored 97 of Kosher has had some bad luck here tonight. Still running inside the top 10, but way off the pace, sitting 3 laps down. John Peel in that 77 machine, last driver inside of your top 5. He sits in that 5th position, but sits 1 lap down. First driver 1 lap down here as they'll make their way back across the stripe and head back into turn number 1. Whoa, big moment for that 78. Trying to put the power down behind or to the outside of a back marker. That is that 77 of John Peel. The 78 almost had a big time moment there, almost sent himself around. Kevin Haas and Tommy Holt, they're going to begin to battle for 7th and 8th on the speedway. I say begin, but it is a battle already. Can the Budweiser 88 Ford keep that DeWalt number 7 Ford F-150 behind him? Tommy Holt has been charging, losing a little bit of ground now as they make their way back to NASCAR 1. Look for that battle to heat up here towards the end of tonight's race. Ron shooting with a little bit of landscaping duties as well here tonight. Last time by that Toyota Tundra, the sole lonely Ron Schutte, only driver out there in one of those Toyota Tundras, and that has got to be quite a lonely feeling when you unload the truck. You start to look around and all you're seeing is ovals and bow ties all around you. Gotta be a little bit of a concerning moment nonetheless. Ron Schutte with a solid run here tonight. Solid top 10. That's going to help him out in the point standings coming into tonight's race. In the points sitting outside of your top 10 was Schutte, so look for a good recovery here this week. Oh, and it looks like the 97 has had some trouble off track. Gotta let a lot of drivers by. Kozier able to get himself finally back going in the right direction. Tough break for that 97. Through the backstretch chicane, looks like he was fighting a little bit of front end there. The 15 twitching a little bit, getting back up to speed, back onto the high banks of NASCAR 3 and 4. He'll come back around. He'll see the high, how are you, the high five. This time by from turn 3's very own Upstate Al. Up there with the flags in hand here in the flag booth tonight for the Daytona Road Course race number 4 in season number 3 for Swift Motorsports Performance Truck Series. Crossing the line this time by that 15. We'll see the 5 to go. Through the NASCAR front stretch chicane, there's the stripe. 5 remaining here tonight from Daytona Road Course. Gonna go check this battle out once again as it's gonna begin to brew and heat up once more. The 7 of Tommy Holt trying to close in on Kevin Haas. That's gonna be for 7th and 8th on the speedway. There you can see those two drivers still going at it. Back and forth, taking shots at each other. The 7 sits in 8th. All over Kevin Haas now. That 7 looking for yet another spot. Looking for some more points here tonight. Can Tommy Holt get that DeWalt 7 around Haas? John McMillan Jr. back through NASCAR 3 and 4, back to the NASCAR chicane. Just 3 laps remaining. Will he be able to put Nathan Rogie down a lap? We'll see how many we've got left on the lead lap at the end of tonight's race. 40 laps, the official race distance. We've got 3 to go. 2. When the leader crosses the line, he'll get the popsicle sticks this time by. Popsicle sticks for that 15 of John McMillan Jr. Just 2 laps remaining. Right at about, 8 miles to go here from Daytona. Not a lot of battles, none to speak of. To be a matter of fact, big gaps separating all of the drivers around the track. 26 seconds separates your top 2 drivers. Another 20 to 30 seconds separates second from third. And the same distance back to the 4th place runner, Nathan Rogie. Another big 40-second drop back to John Peel and at 77, who rounds out your top 5. Peel listed the first driver off of the lead lap, back in that 5th spot. 15 of John McMillan Jr. makes his way off of NASCAR 3 and 4 through the front stretch chicane. He'll see the white flag this time by. Upstate Al's got it in hand. He's waving it. White flag, final lap. One more time around for John McMillan Jr. Can he keep it straight for another 3.5 miles? Still looking nice and smooth coming through the infield here at the Daytona Road Course. Makes his way through the international chicanes and around the carousel back to the final corner before he heads back to NASCAR 1. Just half a lap to go for your race leader, Greg Olnick. He's got a little bit of an off-track excursion. He'll get his machine pointed back in the right direction. He'll keep the 2nd spot for the time being. He's got a 20-second advantage over Alan Young, so I don't think he's going to lose that position at all. Nathan Rogie stays on the lead lap. He stays 4th as in to the backstretch chicane for the final time. 15 of McMillan Jr. nice and smooth as he hits the high banks for the final time into turn 3. The 15 with a big lead. Back down through the gears one more time through the last left and right-hander. Back onto the front stretch, checkered flag in sight, checkered flag in hand. Your race winner, the 15 of John McMillan Jr., captures the flag here tonight in race number 4 for season 3 of Swift Motorsports Butt Kicker Performance Truck Series. And as these drivers begin their cool down laps, we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break, get things set up and ready to go for your post-race interview. So don't go anywhere, race fans. We will be right back. Back live at the track at the completion of tonight's race number 4 here in season number 3 for Swift Motorsports Butt Kicker Performance Truck Series. We've had a chance, we've had an opportunity to catch up with a few of the podium drivers. Let's see if we can't catch in and have a few final words with the driver that walked away in the final spot excuse me, on the podium here tonight. Let's see if we can't dial up that 86 of Alan Young. It's Dave in the booth. You got a copy? Hey, bud, how you doing? How you feeling after a long night under the lights?
Tired. It's just glad to be finally in the top 3 and being able to talk to you. It's been a rough year to date, so hopefully this starts the uphill climb.
Well, only 4 races in, Alan. Got a lot of racing still yet to be done. Let's get your thoughts about the next 2 weeks as we close out the month of June here. We head to Phoenix next week. Then we head to, I believe it is Kentucky. Yes, it is Kentucky before the end of the month. How are you looking at those 2 tracks, and how does the team feel about them?
Phoenix is actually one of my better tracks, so I'm looking forward to that one. Going to put some time in practicing, see if we can finish one spot better than we did last year. Kentucky is hit or miss for me, so I guess we'll see how we unload there. But looking forward to the next couple weeks.
Well, Alan, it was a pretty eventful night out there for a lot of the truck drivers. A heck of a night out there for you, walking away with the third place and final podium spot here tonight. So before we let you go, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous? Thank anybody back home on that 86?
Yeah, I got to thank FSM Customs for coming on board again. Young Guns Creations, my family, the guys at LSM Sport, they keep me motivated, and you for putting on the broadcast.
Well, we do appreciate the kind words there, Alan, and we hope you keep up the good run, and we'll see if we can't catch up with you here again shortly.
Thanks.
There you go. That's the driver that walked away third here tonight, the 86 Chevy Silverado, piloted by Alan Young. Gets the job done, walks away third on the track tonight. That's going to lead us to our second place driver. Let's see if we can dial up and catch a few words with the driver inside of that 78 machine. Greg, it's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
Hey, man, how you doing? How you feeling after a solid run here tonight?
Arms are tired, man. That was a lot of turning tonight, but feeling good about a P2 finish tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure the arms are tired. A lot of turning left and a lot of turning right here. Walk us through your race. Was there any big moments for you?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly the lap, but I turned it around in one of those turns right in front of John Jr., and seems to be that was the case that lost me the race there. I mean, we were keeping about the same pace the whole time, but he got a good 10 to 12 second gap on me, and I could just never close it. But you know, it's hard to keep these things going straight for 40 laps, and he did it, and he earned that win tonight. And me doing it only once got me a P2 finish, luckily.
Well, only one little off-track excursion for you. Not a bad night here, especially at a very technical, tough road course. We see them in the Daytona, in the Rolex 24. They have issues, and they're paid to do it. So, Greg, nothing to hang your head about here tonight. Walking away with a second place. Before we let you go, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous?
Yeah, man. Obviously, want to thank Moo and Brew and Full Throttle Racing and Sports. And we got some new team sponsors I want to go ahead and thank over at Revved Racing as well. Long MacArthur Ford and Lincoln out in Salina, Kansas came on board this week, as well as Silverback Tax Solutions and Sparkle and Shine Mobile Detailing. So everybody go check them out if you have a chance.
All right, my man. Well, Greg, again, congratulations on the run, and we'll see if we can't catch up with you again soon.
All right, buddy. Have a good night, Dave.
All right, there you have it. That was the driver inside of that 78. Greg Olnick walks away from the track with the second place with that second spot here tonight. Let's see if we can now catch up with this man right here on screen, walking away with the first win of the season for him. Let's dial up your race winner to the 15, John McMillan Jr. It's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Dave.
Hey, man, how you doing? How you feeling after capturing your first flag of the season?
Feels pretty good. I definitely needed that.
Walk us through a little bit of your run there. You started outside pole position on those first handful of laps. You dropped back a spot or two. Were you just kind of playing it easy, playing it cool, or what was going on inside of that 15?
Yeah, beginning of the race, I just wanted to play it calm and just see what happens. There was a long race. I didn't want to get too excited. I knew some people would make some mistakes. I feel bad for Tucker. I mean, the lap down car that caused his motor to blow up there is kind of a bummer for him. I think he would have had the race for sure. I just lucked out there.
Well, whether it be luck or just the roll of the dice, either way, you walked away with the checkered flag. You're our fourth different race winner this season. And with that being said, how important is it going to be to get a second, maybe even third win with already 4 spots in the championship chase being taken?
It's definitely important. Try and keep yourself higher up in the leaderboard as you can.
All right, my man. Well, John, again, congratulations on the race win, walking away from the track tonight with the checkered flag. Before we let you go, you want to give any shout outs, thank yous, love yous?
Thank my family and thank my dad. Thank you, Dave, for the great broadcasting, and thank all the admins here at Swift. They do a great job.
All right, well, John, again, congratulations on your first win of the season here in the Performance Truck Series, and we'll see if we can't visit you in Victory Lane once again later on this year.
Sounds good, Dave. Looking forward to it.
Well, there you go. There you have it. That's all she wrote. John McMillan Jr. going to walk away with the checkered flag here tonight at the Daytona Road Course after 40 hard-fought laps. That 15 walks away with the top spot. He'll look to gain a few spots in the overall point standings. And man, oh man, what a race. What a rundown here tonight. A lot of different drivers out there getting a lot of different points. Some drivers not even here tonight. They're going to give up quite a few points. With all that being said, looks like we're going to begin to wrap up the wires. Get ready to head to Kentucky for tomorrow night's Swift Motorsports Butt Kicker Breezy Acres Dairy Farms Xfinity Series race. Right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, 125 laps at Kentucky tomorrow night. But before that, we've got to give props and credit where credit is due. All these drivers putting on one heck of a show so far here tonight at the Daytona Road Course. Turning left, turning right, 3.5 mile racetrack. Very technical and tiresome for all of these drivers here tonight. And it does sound like producers hitting the buttons.
I feel like I was just on another planet.
You know those familiar sounds. It's time to run down tonight's unofficial race results in round number 4, season number 3 for Swift Motorsports Butt Kicker Performance Truck Series. Walking away with the top spot, checkered flag in hand. New race winner, the 15 of John McMillan Jr. The 78 of Greg Olenek gonna bring his Fort Mill, South Carolina machine right there, home in second, rounding out your podium tonight. The 86 of Alan Young. The 87 of Nathan Rogie gonna finish last driver on the lead lap, back and forth. John Peel rounds out your top 5, 1 lap down. The 5 of Lee Staples gonna slot home in 6 with Tommy Holt walking away 7th. Kevin Haas in the 88 Budweiser machine finishes in 8th, while Sean Kozier walks away from the track here tonight in the 9th position. 10th place goes to the 29 of Jeff Snyder. Ron Schutte with some trouble here tonight. He'll finish 9 laps down, back in 11th. 34 of Jeffrey Green walking away in 12th, slot home 13th. Tonight will be the 99 of Rhett Tucker. After dominating the first half, he blew his motor. He dropped from the race, dropped through the field, and he'll walk away in 13th. Stephen Ayers Jr. in the 31 machine. He'll finish in 14th. 15th tonight. The final man on the track, the 24 of Jeff Glockner. Big shout out to all 4 of those race admins and control officials: Gary Wells, Justin Gann, Darren Clement, and John McMillan Sr. taking the driver's responsibility and heading up into race control this week. Big time shout out to each and every one of you for not just what you did tonight, but what you will do throughout the entire season, keeping all of these drivers straight. Big time shout out, thank you to each and every one of you. Big time shout out to all of the admins here at Swift Motorsports for keeping things clicking and rolling the way that they do. Tough little start to tonight's race. Had some track issues had to take care of. Nonetheless, got that worked out, and we are ready to roll out. If you haven't already, race fans, toss these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash that bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Help us with the push to 2,000 subscribers. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell them all twice if you gotta. Get them all over here to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Lots of great racing action. Whether you're looking for short track, super speedway, dirt track, we've got it all each and every night here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. 7 days a week. Get your racing fix right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And, well, we're going to roll up the cords. With that being said, stay safe, stay loved, my friends. And until next time, we'll meet you in Turn 3.